Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Today I'm featuring what is widely considered a modern classic. It is Donuts by J Dilla from 2006 on Stone's Throw Records. Honestly, this is just a fantastic album. It's a prime example of why music is still pressed on vinyl today. Now, I'll admit, the first time I heard of J Dilla was back in '08 from a tribute album called Suite for Ma Dukes by Carlos Nino and Miguel Atwood Ferguson. It's a beautiful piece of instrumental music where they interpreted some of his songs in a contemporary chamber style. I'd never heard anything like it, and it made me investigate who J Dilla was, which led me to here. J Dilla was born in Detroit on February 7th, 1974, to parents who passed their love of music on to their 3 children, of whom Jay was the oldest. His given name was James DeWitt Yancey, and from an early age he expressed an interest in music, especially jazz. As a baby he could hardly fall asleep without his father singing to him, and as a toddler he would walk around with 45s on each of his wrists like bracelets. To put it simply, he was born with the love of music. In high school he started spending a lot of time with his neighbor, Joseph Amp Fiddler, who was a veteran of the music world, most known for his live work with George Clinton. From Fiddler, Jay learned how to program drum machines and sample music from Fiddler's large music collection. His mom did her best to persuade him to follow a path into physics, which he was good at, but to no avail. Jay was set on music as his career. In 1994, Fiddler was performing on the Lollapalooza tour, and he happened to introduce Jay to Q-Tip of A Tribe Called Quest, who were also on the tour. And it was Q-Tip who gave Jay the break he needed. From that point forward, J Dilla went on to work with Common, Erykah Badu, A Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, The Roots, Busta Rhymes, among many others. In 2000, he was nominated for 2 Grammys for his producing skills. The following year, he had an underground hit with his own song as an MC, but just as his hard work was finally paying off, his health started to go south, and in 2003 he was diagnosed with a rare blood condition. Despite this, he continued to work, even performing live on stage in a wheelchair. I do want to mention that one of the things Jay was known for was his mix CDs of beats that he would come up with in his free time. He was quite prolific with these, and a lot of times these beats and samples would get turned into hip-hop songs. By late 2004, early 2005, he was diagnosed with lupus, a condition where the body literally attacks itself. It was at this time Stone's Throw Records got a hold of one of his beat CDs. Something about this CD struck them as being different. There was something coherent. It wasn't just a bunch of random beats, a bunch of tracks thrown together. This was an album. And while Jay was somewhat skeptical, he trusted the guys at Stone's Throw and thus began a back and forth between the label and the artist to create what would become Donuts as we know it today. With the majority of the tracks completed while Jay was in the hospital, the album was finally released on his 32nd birthday in 2006. Sadly, he passed away just 3 days later. I think for me, the real tragedy is that by all accounts, he was about to be the next big thing in hip-hop. I mean, he was the producer's producer. This is a man that Kanye West looked up to. Everybody in hip-hop knew of J Dilla, and they envied his production skills. But Jay? He was a humble dude. He wasn't egotistical about it. He just did what he loved, and people respected him for that. If you get the chance, I encourage you to check out his Crate Diggers episode. It's a very sweet tribute to the man, and you really get a sense of who he was from those who loved him the most. It's very sad that he had to go so young, but he left behind this fantastic album and an influence that is still felt today. Alrighty, today I'm looking at the very special Vinyl Me Please edition of Donuts. In case you don't know, Vinyl Me Please is a Record of the Month club that curates a selection of must-own albums, both old and new, on vinyl. And what I really like about The Surface is that every one of their featured albums are unique releases and exclusive to their members, meaning that you can't find this version anywhere else. Another thing I think is cool is that you're not locked into getting an album you don't want or already have. You can opt out of that month's release, applying your membership fee to the next month. And I think that's pretty cool and gives you a lot of flexibility. This is my first Vinyl Me Please release, and overall I am impressed with the quality. They do an amazing job. On the cover, you have a photo of J Dilla, which is the same for the standard release, but what's unique about this release is that it's a gatefold. Opening up, you have pictures of the man himself with an excerpt from 33 1/3 series, which is a really cool series. I encourage you guys to check that out. And the back here features artwork that's very similar to the original artwork for the 2006 release. And mine, you can kind of see in this light, is stamped 1300. Now, I'm not too sure how many they actually produce, but it's anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 copies, so it's relatively low runs. Moving on to the records themselves, each come in a standard paper sleeve. This is the first record here, and this is too cool, man. Clear vinyl with custom donut labels. These things are just too cool. I think Homer Simpson would love this album, by the way. Also included is an original artwork print by Rotterdam illustrator Ready to Rumble and a cocktail recipe that's paired with this album. And I've already made it, which you can see here, but more on that later. I want to clarify one thing. When I say J Dilla was a producer, in the hip-hop world that means he was the literal beat maker for the song. He's the guy responsible for the sound, and this album is just that. His beats and samples without an MC. It's an instrumental hip-hop album, mostly compiled from samples of classic soul, 50s pop, and even some commercials. Some of the samples you might even recognize. A few that I picked out were Mike D of the Beastie Boys, Stevie Wonder, and I think even Wolfman Jack makes an appearance. You make your life, baby. Some tracks I like more than others, but each one is an experience, a mood, a feeling. And if one doesn't jive with you, it won't be around for very long, as each track is only about a minute to minute and a half, with a few clocking in at over 2 minutes. In total, there are 31 tracks on this version of the album. Some of my favorites include Side B, Track 2, Time, the Donut of the Heart.
There comes a time.
Side C, Track 2, Two Can Win. Side D, Track 7, Bye. And Side D, Track 8, Last Donut of the Night. Which is one of my favorite titles, by the way. This is a fantastic album to chill out to at the end of a long day. It's a great record to have on in the background for a get-together, and it's perfect for cruising at night. It's got a great groove all the way through, and it's inclusive. It doesn't exclude anybody. It makes me feel cooler than I am. Wait, did I really just say that? Ignore that last sentence. In all honesty, this is one of those albums that sounds best on vinyl. It just adds to the whole experience and gives it a lot of texture. If you want to pick up a copy, unfortunately the Vinyl Me Please edition was limited to their current numbers and has since sold out. While you may find a few stray copies on other sites, a far better method is just to buy a new copy straight from the label Stone's Throw. Not only do they have an edition with this cover on standard black vinyl, they also have one with the original cover art. There's also a box set of 45s which features donut label art similar to this edition, and it also comes with a few bonus tracks. No matter which version you pick up, it will make a great addition to your vinyl collection. But hey, let me know what you think of this album. Tell me your story. Has it affected you in a certain way? Also let me know if you're a member of Vinyl Me Please and what you think of this release. That is all the time I have for you. I want to thank Vinyl Me Please for putting out this awesome edition, and I want to thank you guys for watching. I am your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Welcome to the super exciting annotation part of the video. I teamed up with Vinyl Me Please to demo their featured cocktails, and you can learn to make the one they paired with this album by clicking here. It's called the Hennessy Black Royale, and it's a lovely dessert drink made with cognac and champagne. If you want to see how these Vinyl Me Please albums are delivered, be sure to check out my unboxing video here. And finally, if you want to know more about Vinyl Me Please and what they have to offer, please click here or use the link in the description below. It's a unique URL that helps out the show, so I thank you in advance. Now, if you excuse me, I gotta get back to my lovely cocktail here that's getting oh so lonely. Cheers.